It's still to come as protests escalate into violent riots. One pastor is on the front lines of the unrest in Minneapolis, praying with officers and calling for peace. That pastor will join us live next.
As riots break out across the country over the death of George Floyd, one pastor is in Minneapolis praying with police and protesters calling for peace. Here with why this leadership is more important than ever is Pastor Dimas Salaberrios. Pastor, welcome.
Oh, it's glad to be on. Thank you.
It's great to have you here. Obviously, it's a terrible news day. We're looking at protests, violent protests erupting around the country. I want to focus on Minneapolis, though, right now, because there's a much-needed call for unity here, for peace. What message can you bring today for people in Minneapolis, for both the protesters and for the police, who need to sort of figure out a way to come together on the ground here and not have this violence ensue?
Yeah, you know, I think the police need to be more vocal. They're doing a great job of not injuring anybody, and we're so grateful for that. But they have to be vocal that they as well want to stand for justice, that they as well saw what took place was really wrong, and help some of these young people. This is a young people's movement, white, black, Latino, Asian, Native American, and they are out there, and you can feel their pain. You can feel the vulnerability that they have, that police officers have sovereign immunity and they feel like they can do anything to an African American and not face consequences. And this is causing this outcry. And it's unfortunate that in a lot of these communities, the only time cameras show up is when buildings burn. And we have to really work hard to change that narrative. And we have to build trust in the hearts of these young people that justice will go forward. So it's a tough situation, and when you see these kids, it just moves your heart to sadness.
Pastor, who can bring those communities together at this point? Because obviously there is this division. Is it up to family leadership? Is it up to religious leadership? Who can actually go into a community that is, as you can see, up in flames, literally, and bring these people together? Who has that power right now?
I think it's a combination. It's a combination of clergy being on the ground. It's a combination of African American leaders speaking to our youth, but it's also a combination of white leaders. Target, the CEO should stand and say, I don't like what's going on. AutoZone, the leader there, should stand and say, I don't like what's going on. The new president of Fox News should say, we don't like what's going on. There needs to be a unified voice and not just people looking to see, okay, you know, did he do something wrong? Did he really resist? Did he really resist the arrest? The man was handcuffed. No one listened to wisdom. The streets were crying, the Bible says. The streets were crying for wisdom. But while his neck was on him, white and black people in Minnesota was like, can you not see you're killing him? Those cops need to be brought in. They need to be sanctioned just like any of us would be sanctioned, and that needs to happen quickly. Otherwise, these young people will not be satisfied.
Yeah, Pastor, obviously, you know, people around the world unanimously, you know, obviously here at our network, everywhere is unanimously condemning any and all violence in any form that it emerges. Thank you so much for being here. We appreciate your take. We're going to continue to follow the story. Thanks so much.
Thank you.